In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today we are broadcasting from the Silver Bullet Studios in Rome, Oregon on the Owyhee River. Thank you, Elon Musk and the amazing Starlink product. We're going to talk today about one of my favorite topics, which is content marketing and how we can use podcasting and AI to do highly converting content marketing. My guest today is Nichole Gunn. She's the Global Chief Marketing Officer at X2. With over 20 years of marketing expertise in the B2B sector, Nichole has a proven track record in demand gen, brand development, and customer experience. Under her leadership, X2 has built a powerhouse of content marketing that consistently increases sales by 30%. Collaborating with notable clients such as Adobe and Dell and Toyo Tires. Nichole's strategic data-driven approach to marketing not only drives results, but also reshapes how brands connect with their audiences. Nichole, thank you so much for spending some time and telling us about your secret sauce.
Thank you so much for having me, Emmanuel. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we're in this interesting time where we're kind of, I guess, 3 years into AI as a really deep part of the tech stack for marketing departments and marketing agencies. And what are you seeing with the way that it's impacted the work that your team is doing?
It is a time saver, first and foremost. It's so fascinating to me how often I speak to marketers and they're not using generative AI at the very minimum to help produce content. However, I will say, as great of a time saver as it is, there are some hiccups with regard to data, right? You really got to have that data element. So pairing data with content to make this really beautiful dance, if you will. But yeah, time saving is to me the best return on investment I've ever seen.
And then I guess where are you plugging it in right now, or talk a little bit about content development and where the AI tools are saving you time?
Yeah, so we use AI, generative AI, twofold, and then we also use predictive analytics, right? And it's a predictive AI, which to me is where the secret sauce is of the future, just this golden ticket, if you will. But right now, we're really focused on the generative component. So we're using, we're partnered on the marketing front with, chat GPTs and really using that to help drive content using our data and, of course, marrying the two. Building project plans. It's amazing how quickly, as long as you're prompting it correctly, I call them prompt engineering.
Yep.
You get really great pieces of content. And because you're adding that personal touch, right, the data that you're collecting from your own systems, from your clients' systems, you really can put out ethical content, is how we like to look at it. But likewise, in our own systems, we're doing the same thing. So we have integrations with some different generative AI tools that are taking content from our clients and allowing partners to get in and say, okay, here's the client or the client content. Here's how I want to manipulate it. And here's some of the promptings that I want to use so I can get content that's really more suited to my brand. So co-branded marketing, right, that we can then put out on behalf of the partners to help drive revenue. Yep. And I tell you, it's really interesting. So last year, we started going through the partner ecosystem of some of our clients, especially in manufacturing. So I won't name any names, but we'll say the HVAC industry in particular. We had one client who had 50-ish, roughly, e-distributors, right? We started going through these e-distributors, and of all of them, there was only one out of all 50 who was co-marketing their product. Right. And that same one was the only one who was marketing their own brand. Well, this just happened to be $1 billion partner, right? The rest of them weren't quite as big. They don't have marketing funds. They don't have big marketing departments. And the last time that we saw them post anything was 2023. Prior to that, it was 2019. So can you
Right.
imagine how behind times
A
we
little
are?
outdated. The product lines might have shifted a little bit in the years, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But then what's beautiful about it is we now start to bring in predictive, right? And what I love about predictive AI is it's going to look at engagement rates and click rates and conversion rates and sales rates based off of content and say, based on what we're seeing, this is where you should be investing money for the future so that you're going to get the best ROI. Quit wasting marketing dollars. Now we can
Right.
actually pinpoint where to put them. And that marketing and sales dollars, for that matter, research and development dollars, that is, like I said, it's a golden ticket for the future.
Yeah, that's an interesting lever there because we've got the ability finally to say the branding and the content marketing actually is a value into the sales side of the business.
Well, as marketers for years, and I can remember when I first started just a few years ago, uh, you know, my former CEO would say, I know that marketing works. We can see an ROI. I just don't know what part or which pieces of marketing is working.
Right.
And
Yeah.
at the time you're doing SEO and you can say, well, here's where conversion goes or is coming from. And you have ad spend and here are the ads that are converting, but there's still gaps, right? You didn't necessarily know full funnel attribution all the way down to the cell. And that's changing. And I love being a part of that, being able to solve that problem, to go back to my former CEO and go, aha, now we have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to help, like you're saying, with the spend allocation, and then also the content chunks that are valuable, right? Because there's some content is way better than other content in terms of driving education and then ultimately sales.
Well, and there's something to be said about personalization that way, right? And that's again where this generative AI can come in and actually predictive. It can go, hey, Emmanuel likes this type of content. If you're a tier one tech company and you're marketing about servers, but if you actually go out and look at the intent data from the partners' local searches, you can go, wow, they actually care more about maybe it's security. And that's what we need to be putting
Right.
in this partner's hands, where there may be, hardware that we need to be putting in this partner's hands, to help them market and drive, sales. And so, yeah, it opens up a whole new world so they can get that personalization, which is so important, as you know.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I like how you're breaking it up into generative AI, which is the content, and then you've got the predictive side. And now, is it the predictive tools? Have you built internally those tools, or are you bringing in third parties that are helping with that?
Both, actually. So, we do use some third parties. We currently partnered with Domo. I think Domo has some very interesting pieces. Power BI is another company that we've spoken with that has some really great predictive analytics tools that are coming. I'd say both of them are probably on the forefront of what is to come. Not quite there yet, but doing a phenomenal job. And then, of course, we're developing our own, and we look, ours are slightly different because we look at both our client's ecosystem, but we also look at the partner ecosystem. So we deliver two front, and we're really helping to connect the dots between the two.
Yeah, I think that's always an interesting puzzle, right? Where you have your client, and then you have your client's clients, and then how do
Yeah.
you sync up everything, right? What are some of the ways that you manage that multi-dimensional marketing?
Well, it's for the longest time, our clients have said, "Hey, look," and it goes back to similar to what my CEO said. We're growing sales. We have a 22-to-1 ROI, and our ROI is we do attributable sales, not just marketing leads, right? So we look at things very different. Don't get me wrong, we track full funnel, but that's really where the return comes. And so for the first time ever, we're able to provide feedback all the way up. And we have, I think for years, what we heard our clients, not I think, but we always heard our clients saying, we don't know who the buyers are, the consumers who want our products. And not that we want to bypass our channel partners. We never want to do that. We want to empower them to do more with their
Right.
consumers, right? And help them become bigger brand names. And so helping fill in those gaps has been challenging, a heck of a lot of fun, but also just what a great way to, again, solve those, the problems that our clients have. That's the big one.
I love it. And then I guess obviously you're a proponent of podcasting and podcast guesting. What are you seeing in terms of your clients and what they're thinking about with podcasts?
It's funny. So many of them want to be on podcasts, right? I don't see a lot of them hosting yet at all. I don't know if that, and I don't really know why. I don't know if that's a fear thing, or if they don't know where to start or how to get going, or if their companies just aren't making the investments. But I would say 100% of my clients today, and even their partners, if we ask them to join a podcast, they'll instantly do it. If we ask them to go to an event and speak on our behalf, they'll show up and do so. So I feel like for a long time, digital marketing has been at the forefront, and rightly so, right? But that's behind the scenes. Now we're starting to see people come back out of their shells, and they want the airtime.
Yeah. And then what are some of the benefits that you're seeing from your podcasting appearances?
Brand recognition. For us, that's really why we started and what we want to do. And we really wanted to focus on mid-market businesses. These big companies, everybody knows who Dell is, everybody knows who Google is. We all, we know some of these big names, but what about mid-marketers like ourselves? We work for a mid-level tier marketing agency, and those guys typically, again, they don't have the resources, right? And so if we can help them, and we can help, especially from a distribution perspective, why not? Even manufacturing, there's still always something to learn. If you're a manufacturer, you should tune in, because you go, okay, this is what my distributors care about, right? And so just, again, connecting all of those dots.
Yeah. And then also getting on brand, on message, straight from either the CEO or CMO, whoever's been chosen to do the talk, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I tell you, there's so many brand affiliates out there for these big brands who want to come on and talk about what they're doing, and there's some really cool things happening out there right now. Just the way that I'll use one of our HVAC clients, Hisense, and their focus on, and I would say this is true of most of our clients, but on energy efficient systems and being better for the environment and what they're really trying to do. I just think it's fascinating. And so there's so much for us as consumers to learn, because let's face it, when we put an HVAC system or something into our home, we typically go, what's the cheapest, right? Well, the biggest bang for the buck. But these younger people, and even myself, I want the eco-friendly systems that are going to last longer. And maybe it's not all about price anymore. And so those, from a brand perspective, getting that message out there so that we understand as consumers is really important.
Yeah. And I think you're able to, in these pod situations, 90% of people want to see video. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that kind of legacy brands and the kind of the older part of the workforce, the Gen X and the Boomers, don't really understand, and they think it's optional. But at this point, it's no longer optional.
Well, and they're so shy to be on camera. Have you noticed that?
Right.
The hands
Yes.
off.
Yeah.
Whereas this younger generation's, put me in, coach, I'm ready to go, and it's pretty great.
Yeah. So it's critical because that's what the end user wants to see, and in terms of an authentic voice from the brand, they want to see video, and then they want to hear the story, like you're talking about. What is the differentiator? And so I think it's really for most companies still, like you're saying, it's an untapped powerhouse of marketing,
Yes,
being on podcasts.
very much.
And then the smart companies are then hosting their own, and then also doing one that's an internal education source as well for staff and valued partners, like you're talking about down the sales chain.
Oh, absolutely. That's, internal. It's not so much, it's similar to a podcast we call it the X2 Pulse, and we bring everyone together every quarter, and we sit down and we talk. Really, we let the leadership team, not the executives, but the leadership team, that sort of mid-level team, get out and speak. And we bring different members of staff up to talk about what's going on across the departments, and really lend itself to not only where is the business going, but that educational component, right? And it's amazing how much everyone looks forward to it. And if we're late, I mean, we get blown up. Hey, when is the next pulse coming out? We want to know. Whereas, the old all hands that we used to do, people would go, ugh, I have to log into this. Who really cares?
Right.
This other thing, but you have to put life in it, right? This
Yeah.
having the engagement factors, the bringing in the different elements and the music, and it is just such a production, but it's a really good time, and people enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point. You got to bring a little bit of entertainment into it, right, in order to keep people engaged.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, where do you see things going in the next year? What do you what's the crystal ball for Nichole Gunn in terms of how your department's going to continue to absorb, or your company's going to continue to absorb those three different parts of AI and what you're building?
Yes, we are rolling out the partner experience platform. And what that really means is for the first time ever, there's going to be channel marketing, incentives, generative AI, predictive AI, agentic AI is coming, sales, everything's being brought together so we can full funnel attribution all the way through the channel, right? When you think about historically, attribution and even cookies, it was very linear. These things were developed really for consumer-based marketing.
Right.
The channel's been, I don't want to say forgotten about, and we all know that the bulk of GDP goes through the channel, right? In fact, Jay McBain released something, that says right now it's currently greater than 70% of channel ecosystems go through their partners, or distribution goes through channel ecosystems, and that's expected to go to over 90% in the future. And so knowing that, we have to be better about being able to track across the channel and show full funnel attribution through that. And that's really what we're doing. So we're saying, we can help generate marketing campaigns and content using generative AI based on, the message you, the partner, along with the client want to co-brand and put out. We're setting up agents to be able to cut down on operating expenses and for everyone so that it happens automatically. You can get in and you can do some tweaking if you would like that, of course. And then we're using predictive to say, and here's where you go next, right? To make those the wise decisions, actionable insights, if you will. And so that's really where we're going. And that's, to me, probably the most exciting thing we've done ever.
Yeah, it's tidy and elegant, all in the same in the same process there.
Elegant and tidy. Very well said.
Oh yeah, thank you. No, but like you said, it's really the ability to do the predictive part and have the data guide the next series of campaigns or content is amazingly powerful.
And we're also going to be we have brought in intent. So local buyers for the partners. So not only are you going to get to see the marketing and sales, from a client perspective, from the partner perspective, but now you get the consumer perspective as well. Right. And so just bringing all that together and making it easier, giving people what they want versus just bombarding them with all the noise that we all get all the time. So I'm a vegetarian as an example, and I get marketed to for Omaha steaks all the time. And I'm like, well, know your audience. I'm never going to purchase this. It's just wild to me. So being able to change that up, and nothing against Omaha steaks, they're a great brand. They do good, but I'm just not going to eat it. So,
you're not a target market.
No, get it right. Don't waste money on me is what I'm really trying to say. Those dollars are better spent somewhere else where you're actually going to get a return. And so, that's the goal.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Well, Nichole, if somebody wants to get together and have a conversation with you, how do they track you down?
Oh, my LinkedIn account. Feel free, Nichole Gunn, Nichole Gunn, Gunn. Connect with me anytime. And then the Nebo Marketing Agency, you can always reach out to them and they'll put you in touch with me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and taking some time to describe what you're doing on the content marketing side.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Rose. It was a pleasure.
All right.
In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI. Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.